Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the K&E Theater Group Local Spotlight Series, coming to you every Tuesday and Friday at 7 o'clock on the K&E Theater Group Facebook page, IGTV, and our YouTube channel. We're so excited to be going on this venture with all of you throughout the summer. If you look below at the comments here on Facebook, there is a section. It is a PayPal link. If you feel inclined, please donate to us. We're trying to keep live theater alive through these hard times, and looking into the future, every little bit helps. If you are not watching us on Facebook, we also have the donate button on our website. If you go to ketg.org, under support KETG, there is a donate button, and you can donate there as well. We will take it all. So head over to ketg.org and sign up for some donations, the newsletter, all that good stuff. So what the Local Spotlight Series is, very quickly, because you do not want to hear me babble anymore. The Local Spotlight Series is a bi-weekly interview series. We will be interviewing local theatrical personalities, and they will also include a performance. I know, how exciting. So we're very excited about this. It is something that we have been looking forward to for a while, and we have a great lineup of guests. Speaking of guests, our first one is here. I'd like to introduce everybody to Meghan Lynn Allen. And if you do not know Meghan, you are in for a treat. And if you know Meghan, you know what's about to happen. So here comes Meghan Lynn Allen. All right.
Hello.
Hi, Meghan.
How you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for being our first guest here on the Local Spotlight Series.
I'm honored. Thank you very much. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. Me too. We're going to jump right into it, Meghan. How did you get into theater? Like, where did this all start, and where are you now as far as theater goes?
I mean, I have to credit my mother. I don't remember getting into theater, so I'm going to say since birth. I come from a somewhat musical background. In my family, people that sing, play piano, organ for church, those kind of things. And my mom took me to New York when I was young. I was the star of my kindergarten play. I'm trying not to brag, but it was called Auntie Katushka with her babushka. And I was Auntie Katushka. I know. Hold your applause. I don't know, in high school, I went to a very athletic high school, prep school. I just sort of beelined for everything: art, music, theater, stage crew, anything that was not athletic at all. And then when I went to college, I became a theater major. It was sort of like the only thing I knew how to do that I thought I was good at. And luckily, eventually I geared more towards stage management, directing, and the things that I had more of a passion for than acting or singing. So I don't know, I just sort of found my way, but definitely my mom encouraged me.
And where'd you go to college?
Marymount Manhattan College. It's a little theater art school in the big city, and it's fun. I've now directed children's theater and worked with kids that have grown into adults, and they go to Marymount. It's really nice. It's nice to see that
it's the circle of life.
It's still thriving. Yeah.
So speaking of theater, what have been some of your favorite roles? Now, I'm not just talking about on stage. I'm talking about directorial as well. Favorite shows?
Yeah, I love stage managing and directing. It's almost like the same path you see in theater, stage, or actors in Hollywood. You know, eventually they all turn into directors and producers like you and me.
Right.
So I guess probably directing. My heart is always with a musical comedy. The great American Trailer Park Musical, trashy, funny, great harmonies, kick-ass roles for women. Spelling Bee, interactive with the audience, G-rated but hysterical. People leave there so happy. So usually a musical comedy, and I would say usually directing. I did get to play Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray, which is like a dream role that I didn't even dream about. The woman who was playing that role literally broke her leg.
Oh, wow.
She had to get pins in her knee.
Ooh.
And I didn't know anything about this production was going on. I came in about 4 weeks late, had to catch up really fast. And I was like maybe a decade or more older than Tracy should be. So it was a lot of fun. It was that was probably one of my favorite acting roles.
And where did you do that?
It was in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, but it was with Green Room Productions, who's out of
Okay.
Munson area community theater. And a lot of roles I've gotten and productions along directing sometimes have been because people fell through. It didn't work out. And I've been like the ringer. And I like it because I like improv. I like spontaneous stuff. So I like that kind of challenge.
You are very, very good at spontaneous stuff.
I'm trying to be really good about being spontaneous and not, you don't want to have the bleep effect. So
Of course. Believe me, I get that. So speaking of spontaneous,
yeah.
talk about one of the most embarrassing things that's happened to you on stage.
On stage. Well, the first thing that comes into my mind, I didn't know you really then, but this was at the Opera House Players in Broadway, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dress rehearsal for a show. I fell off the stage. So the best part is not just that I fell off the stage. It was like 1, 2, 3, fall, like dancing, singing, right off the front, right off. Going down like a step or two and then just missing it. So luckily it's not on YouTube. But actually the more embarrassing part is that no one noticed. Like, I know the show must go on, but I just face planted. I hurt my leg. I had like scar tissue there for like a year in my shin. And everyone kept going and singing. I just laid on the ground in the dark because, the house is dark and the stage is lit. And I mean, I had got up and I kept performing. I wasn't bleeding. It's really embarrassing to me, but like no one even knows it happened, which is the dorky, really embarrassing part.
No, but that's what makes it so good.
Like that Helen Keller video on YouTube? I'm sure if theater people are watching this, they know that's what it was.
The Helen Keller video, or anytime Peter Pan will fly into a piece of scenery, I'm pretty much there for it.
Yeah, that was me.
So you had this whole life here with theater and directing, and then you created M3 Productions. Can you talk a little bit about M3 Productions?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of what I mentioned about you go from sometimes in life actor to stage manager to director to producer. So I started a production company, and it's all what they call new musical theater. That's a term, a website, sort of an up-and-coming composers, singers, what people are doing in New York. Some people like Pasek and Paul and Drew Gasparini and all these names that slowly come into the popular culture. They're starting with this new musical theater scene. I'm sure some people watching this have gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of like NYMF, New York Musical Theater Festival, and the NYU Showcase, all those YouTubes. And I was obsessed with those, and I just thought it was so great to be able to bring new composers, new music to people. So I just kept doing showcases, cabarets, and bringing that to Western Mass. Or I did a showcase in New York at a cabaret theater. And plus, it's engaging people to get to know that stuff in the 413 or the 508 that might never get a chance to learn it, hear it, perform it. And I love it. I love new musical theater.
I think that's there's so much new musical theater out there. I mean, like KETG actually was producing Altar Boys, which actually started at NYMF. So yeah, it's little things like that, Pasek and Paul.
Yeah, and things that start at NYMF sometimes come into the mainstream, and that stuff is just like the heart of what's going on right now. Sadly, there's not a lot of that stuff right now during our pandemic times, and I'm on a sort of break from M3 Productions, but Broadway's on a break for a year. But that doesn't mean that all of those people, including me and you, are not writing, coming up with things. And I think in a year from now, all that stuff hopefully will explode and, start back again.
I mean, you never know. It takes something like this to have a creative resurgence.
There's a lot of shows being written right now.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So speaking of shows, would you like to introduce the song that you are going to perform for us?
Sure. So when you asked me to do this, the interview is like easy for me. Song, I have to practice. I'm not a singer. I'm not sort of like honing my skill every day, but I did take it upon myself Why? I don't know. Just to give myself more stress, to do a challenge and learn something new. In the spirit of new musical theater and not singing something that we've all heard before, although those things are great too. So there's a musical that was never in New York. It's called Freaky Friday, a new musical. So the movie Freaky Friday was a musical. It premiered in Virginia. There's a Tony Award-winning theater there. I have to think of the name of it. But Emma Hunton, Heidi Blickenstaff. There's names that people know if they know, Broadway, that were in that original production. I have to look while I'm talking to you at the composers and the writers. But so it's premiered in Virginia. It hit a few regional theaters. It's not super well known, and I love that because I love introducing people, to new things. And the music's really good. I mean, just the women I just mentioned, they've got great songs. So this song is called No More Fear. Emma Hunton sings it as the daughter, but she's the mother. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. So the music is Tom Kitt, the lyrics are Brian Yorkey, the book is Bridget Carpenter, and it's Freaky Friday, a new musical.
Awesome. Well, here's Meghan Allen performing from Freaky Friday.
What is this feeling that I'm feeling like I've shot right through the ceiling? Is it only the caffeine and the sugar and the pizza? Dear me, I had 3 slices of that pizza. Are carbs the feeling that I'm feeling like I'm losing it but dealing? It's alarming and appealing and somehow healing. How long has it been since this old heart has skipped a beat? How long have I kept an even keel? How hard have I worked to keep our life so calm and neat? And how good does this freaking chaos feel? Now I don't have the first idea what else may be in store, but I know I won't be frightened anymore. No more fear, no more fright. I go bold or I go home. It starts tonight. Oh God, have I taught my daughter to be cautious at all cost? Have I made her somehow be afraid? Have I held too tightly after all we both have lost? And how do I clean up this mess I made? Clearly I can't promise things will all turn out okay, but here's the most important thing I'll say. No more fear, no more dread. No more dwelling on the danger, we'll dare to live instead. No more sadness, not one tear. We'll be tough and tough together. No more fear. No more shyness or embarrassment, no diffidence, no doubt. That self-consciousness and anxiousness, just throw that stuff right out. 'Cause I thought I taught you manners, but I may have made you meek. And a girl can't be a good girl without ever being weak. If you have to fight, then fight, and I'll be the first to cheer. No more waiting, no more hiding. Are we clear? No more fear. No more fear.
That was awesome.
It's fun. It's really a fun show, and the YouTube rabbit hole is out there, so go find it.
It's sure. I mean, you can find some really incredible people.
Yeah.
Just diving into the YouTube rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think I find at least 4 a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so Meghan is a huge, huge advocate for theater and the theater community. She actually graced us with her talents at our 2018 launch party for K&E Theater Group. She hosted the entire thing, and it was just funny and improv and just so, it just made your heart smile when she spoke and she introduced people. Now, fast forward to the pandemic we're in, and Meghan has also done something really incredible. So Megan, can you tell us about the high school senior showcase that you just had?
Sure. So, like most artists in a pandemic and most doers that are used to being busy, I was sort of looking for that creative outlet. And I also have a special heart for young people doing theater. Like I said, I've directed children's theater and I've worked with huge high school casts. I know you have too. Cast of 40. I directed Footloose with 40 young people in Munson. That stuff is so fun to me. And I just was seeing things coming across Facebook, and I know there are a lot of, losses and things that we are grieving during the pandemic. But for seniors in high school, theater kids, their senior show, like that senior musical that you remember,
Big
that
one.
big performance that they were already rehearsing and was probably supposed to go up in March, April, May. They're all missing that. So I had this idea to do a Zoom that was free for theater kids wherever. There were some from all over the world. There were a lot from all over the US that didn't get to do their show. And they could come on and sing a little or recite a little dialogue and just share. And it's, meant to be uplifting, but, they could grieve or share anything they wanted. And people started getting into it. I shared it on Facebook and the usual places. And I had a local reporter reach out to me that wanted to write an article on it. So I started getting a lot of kids, young people signing up for this Zoom. And then I thought, like, I love doing special surprise stuff for people. So I reached out to my 1-2 degrees of like Broadway contacts, and got some surprise Zoom bombers to surprise them too. So Broadway actors, costumers, it was really, really fun. And 2 people from Beetlejuice,
Oh,
my favorite show on Broadway. The assistant costume person for Wicked, who I've known that went to Marymount Manhattan College, he's been with Wicked since the beginning. There was like a list of 7 or 8 actors, some on tour, one on tour with Wicked, and they kept popping up in the Zoom. And the kids were like so pumped. I haven't put together a little reel from it yet, but I'll share something, hopefully soon. And it was great. It's happy, it's joyful, it's creative, and also some people, some seniors got a chance to share what they were working on.
I just think that's so admirable. And in a time of so much uncertainty, especially for the youth, giving them a little bit of light right there, I think it's just wonderful. So, I mean, I applaud you for doing that.
Thank you. I got messages from some of the parents afterwards that were like saying their kid hadn't smiled yet in the pandemic and they were smiling, or they were up all night singing. They made friends with each other. That's how young people in a pandemic are going to make friends online through this stuff. So it was really great.
That's amazing. Well, I'm sure with all of those Broadway people there, they were giving a little bit of advice to these future Broadway performers.
Yes.
So do you have any advice for the people who are watching this who maybe are looking to get into the business or in the midst of trying to get into the business?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Broadway performer, but I've worked all over the place in community theaters, regional theaters. I've lived in Los Angeles, New York City. I've worked a lot of places. And I'm sure some people can give advice about talent and auditions and all that, but really my advice would be just to be a good person. I mean, that sounds kind of cheesy, but your talent gets you in the door. And a lot of this is word of mouth. I mean, you and I sitting here doing this Zoom, we have 1 degree, 0 degree separations from people on Broadway. So if someone's going to cast someone and they saw, oh, you work with this person at that theater company, maybe I'll just call them and see what they have to say about you. Not because they're looking for something negative. They might want to know about, your dance skills or whatever it is. But that stuff gets shared. And, not just to live in fear of what's going to get shared about you, but to be a good person, also for the right reasons. I'm not impressed by divas. I mean, it's fun to see like some of the old school Broadway divas and have a little fun with that. Our favorite people, I won't name names, but some of them over the decades. But generally speaking, that's not the way to go. And that's not the way you're going to keep getting work and connect with people and then get the next thing and then write a musical with them. And I think respecting other artists is probably the best advice I have.
No, I completely agree. As someone who's been behind the table, both in a professional sense and a community sense, a lot of the talk is, do I want to work with this person?
Right.
So it's not just like, do I want to work with them because they're ridiculously talented and can sing to the heavens, but it's also, will I enjoy my time working with them? Will they fit in this band of people that I'm bringing together to put a performance on?
Right. Most performers are not performing in a Broadway house. They're all over the country, or they're on tour, they're on a cruise ship, and you've got limited time, limited budgets. We're not doing it for the money. So it should be an enjoyable experience. And that's what makes it so fun, is meeting these people that you connect with for life. And also you've got those connections for the future, and hopefully make more art, down the line somewhere.
Oh, I completely agree about that. So now I have to ask you, you did mention it, you love Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Okay. So out of everything last season, all of those incredible musicals,
yeah.
you chose Beetlejuice. So what makes Beetlejuice different from the other musicals of last season and other musicals in general that just like touches your soul?
Yeah, I saw a handful of plays and musicals last season. I mean, I was not obsessed with Beetlejuice growing up. I loved the movie, like I think most people, but the musical is just, it's got everything, like lights, sound, explosions, fireworks, and all the tricks. Alex Brightman is amazing, and he does the Beetlejuice voice, which I don't know if you know about it. There's this thing called, I think it's vocal fold phonation, but he worked with like OT, PT, and all those kinds of people to be able to do the gruff voice and sing and not hurt himself. And he's athletic. I mean, everyone up there is dancing their butts off, and it's like aerobics and acrobatics. It's amazing. It's a really fun, high energy, but also dark and twisted, sarcastic. My brother, I have an older brother, and he's not a theater person at all. And so the only two shows I've ever brought him to in New York were Avenue Q and Beetlejuice.
Perfect.
Because I like when an audience is told to F off, by the actors, by the script.
Yeah.
So Beetlejuice kind of has that going for it too. And then it's just like a fun energy. I personally didn't dress up or any of that stuff, but people come like ready for Beetlejuice. And there were lines around the block. I saw it 4 times. I was lucky enough to see it 4 times. I brought 4 different people because I loved it so much. If you're not following Alex Brightman on Twitter, go do that. He's also just an amazing guy who respects people, that whole good people thing. I mean, he's really talented, but he cares about fans. He stays and talks to them. He gives advice. And then Dana Steingold, who's in Beetlejuice, she came to the theater Zoom that I did for the high school seniors.
Wow.
Just some really sweet people.
I loved it.
Yeah, talented, very funny. The timing, the tricks too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tricks, little sleights of hand and magic, and I love that stuff.
Some great puppetry.
Yeah. The ensemble,
they're working.
They do a lot. They do
so much. I was exhausted watching them.
Yeah.
All right. So to end every interview that we have here on the Local Spotlight, and you get to be the first one to answer it since you're our first guest, I'm going to ask the same question, and that what draws you to live theater, live performance?
Well, I think sort of to riff off what I just said is the magic. You and I and some of the people watching this that are theater people, we know some of the tricks behind the magic, but for the audience, especially young people who've never been to theater before, the first time we saw shows. So the first Broadway show I ever saw, again, just to date myself, was Cats. My mom brought me to Cats, and we got the TKTS, tickets, luck of the draw. They were 3rd row, so it was the front row, really, all the way to the house right. And, a freaking cat came out of a sewer, like right in front of me. That, maybe that's what did it. Maybe that's what changed me. That stuff, in Beetlejuice, things are disappearing and reappearing. I think of like a classic, fun, favorite musical, Fantastics, where someone's climbing out of a trunk and how did they do it? That stuff is so magical for an audience, and they're the people that are really affected by it, and I think it's so great to see. It's like when you're sitting next to someone that's never seen your favorite show before, and you can't wait till they, what's coming. So the magic of live theater, I love that.
I love that answer. It's that little thing that makes your eyes twinkle or makes you like catch your breath. Yeah. I love that idea. I love that. Well, Megan, thank you so much for being our guinea pig on our first.
I think I'm always the guinea pig for you, and I'm happy to do it. So anytime you first start something, I'm there.
You're so easy to talk to, and you're
Thank
so
you.
just enjoyable. Is there anything you want to say to the people that are watching at home?
Wow. Nope. Nothing else. I mean, I have some stories about Eddie. Find me on Twitter and Instagram
Well,
at
this
Meghan
was
Lynn Allen, and
great.
I'll tell you
This
everything.
was great. Thank you so much, Meghan Lynn Allen. Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
In my opinion, that was a fantastic first interview. I want to thank Meghan Lynn Allen, and I want to thank everybody involved with Caney Theater Group and all of you at home who are watching and hopefully sharing and making this a success. We're all trying to do something creative in these hard times, and I hope that the local Spotlight series can bring a little bit of light into your life. Really quickly, just a reminder, if you are inclined, down in the comments on Facebook, there is a PayPal link that will take you to our donation page. If you are not on Facebook or would like to donate later, you go to our website at ketg.org. There you will find a support KETG link, and you can find our PayPal there. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter. Also like us on Facebook and Instagram, and also follow our YouTube channel. So save the date for every Tuesday and every Friday, because in the next coming weeks, we have some really great guests, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock, like I said, on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. You'll also be able to see the archives of these interviews on our website in the weeks to come. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for letting us bring a little spotlight into your life.